Alright, we're back. And because we are so far ahead of schedule, we're going to insert a bonus game to get back on track. And that way we don't have to worry about any of our runners accidentally running behind schedule because they didn't realize we were accidentally 30 minutes ahead of schedule. So, let's go ahead and get this started. Commentating with me is going to be Ozzy. He used to run this game as well, so he'll be able to help out for this pretty intense indie game.
Yeah, this is a pretty difficult puzzle platformer. It's really good, and I kind of wish I dedicated myself more to the game, but well, you guys will see what I'm talking about when I say this is really, really hard. But Stinger's going to make it look easy, of course.
Hopefully. We'll see about that.
Yeah. Before you start, Stinger, I do want to wager a bet with you.
Oh, what's this?
First try, ice block jump.
I mean, I've gotten that bet from you every single time you've made it. Do you really want to go down this road again?
We will go down this road as many times as it takes for me to win.
Alright, let's go. Alright. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and start. 3, 2, 1, go. Coming up in the very first level, we've already got a difficult trick. Normally in this game, I'm only supposed to be able to jump 4 tiles high, and you'll see that very shortly when the level loads. Using a boost jump, I can jump 5 tiles high, which is unintentional, but the developers left it in because it was a pretty difficult trick to actually pull off. You have to release and then repress the jump button within 2 frames of each other at a specific height.
Yeah, normally the goat can only jump about, I want to say, 3 tiles?
4 tiles.
Oh, 4 tiles, but this lets him get an additional 5th tile of height to his jump if you do this correctly. It's frame perfect to do it, and it is one of those things that is the biggest obstacle when it comes to first learning this game is the speed run.
Yeah, and obviously you'll notice a lot of these levels are going by extremely quickly. We're not going to be able to provide dedicated commentary for every single level, but we'll do our best.
I mean, you didn't die to blocks on 1-4. That's a good sign.
Yeah, that was another boost jump right there. That was a mid-air boost jump, which is actually even more difficult than the normal one.
Yeah, but let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the goat's moveset. For starters, he can do it like a little dash. This dash can be performed on the ground or during mid-air. You can only do one of these mid-air dashes at a time, and he can perform a double jump, which also leads into what we were talking earlier, the boost jump. The other thing is he has this access to a little pet ally known as Henry. This little mouse guy, you can toss him and have him crawl along walls or place him on switches to activate various things. But the main goal of the game is you need to collect a certain amount of sheep souls in order to progress to the end of the game. You don't have to get all of them. We only need to collect, I think, I want to say
7.
7.
Yeah, there's 8 available in the opening areas, but we only need to get 7.
Yeah, we're seeing our first case of the Reaper type enemies here in the forest levels. Reapers, when they see you in line of sight, they will proceed to fire fireballs at you. These can in turn be used to burn various things, puzzle solving, and kill you.
Yeah, killing you is the big one. We want to try and avoid that.
Yeah, there's actually a couple nifty tricks that you can use to try and get around the fireballs. One of which involves using Henry. Henry is invincible. He will never ever die. But if he takes a fireball in front of you, he will negate the fireball, letting you survive. a lot of the rooms that you're seeing Stinger do here, these are all incredibly optimized, both by him and the other runners in the Scapegoat 2 community. A lot of these tricks are incredibly difficult to pull off consistently, and it takes a lot of practice.
Yeah. Obviously, with every level being very short, it's kind of a frame war at times to try and get any time saves out of things, and that's when things like saving time on optimal double jumps comes into play. Like, that level, I actually lost about half a second, even though it was only a 2-second level, just due to not quite perfect double jumps. So there's a ton of frames to save pretty much everywhere, and it all adds up to the entire game.
Yeah, so the next area we're going into is what is known as excavation. Excavation introduces the concept of ice blocks. These ice blocks can be melted with fire. They also can be used as pushable objects. And there's going to be a couple of situations where you're normally supposed to do this elaborate puzzle, push some ice blocks around in order to keep this push down. But because we have boost jump and we have Henry here, we can ignore a good amount of these ice blocks. And he pulled off a very, very well-timed trick there where he pushed an ice block as it was falling through midair. That is not easy.
Yeah, and right there I was able to throw Henry off ice block in midair to bounce him off, and that actually gains a few pixels of height and allows Henry to hit that switch that was on the wall.
Yeah,
and here we're seeing the magic hat for the very first time, which is a power-up to Henry, which allows me to just exchange places with him.
Yeah, there's actually a good amount of power-up items for Henry in this game, though you're only going to really be seeing 2. Well, I guess the Necromancer could be counted as one.
I guess you could count the Necromancer staff as a 4th. It's only in 2 levels, but we get to see both of them. But yeah, the one power-up you will not be able to see today is the Tiny Hammer. That's because it's in a section that we can skip, because we get to the option to skip one section in the game out of the 8 starting areas.
And it's significantly the longest one to go through.
It's not so significant now, but it used to be really bad. It's only like 10 seconds slower now, I guess, but the levels are so much more difficult than the ones we would do otherwise, so.
Alright, so Sequestered Library, this is where we're going to see some cool use of Henry in order to absorb the fireball blows. This takes a little bit of practice to get the rhythm down. And I see you decided to take a little safety there and kill the Reaper.
It's not really safety. It just comes about in my normal movement.
Alright.
Here I'm gonna go for a really difficult strat.
No.
Didn't make it. I'm trying to slide in behind those blocks before they start moving, but I didn't quite make it.
I am surprised you're going for this. This is not at all safe.
It's a short game. I'll be fine. And here's a neat little trick where if I dash at the right time while falling, I get the Reaper to shoot his fireball and melt that ice block that the stone was sitting on, and they fall at the same rate.
Yeah, that's interesting that there's actually a couple different variations of that same trick, but the one he did is easily the fastest.
It's not the fastest, actually, but it is by far the most consistent.
And you pushed all the buttons and lined up the library. How nice.
I'm glad I could satisfy people's OCD in the chat. But that is 4 sheep souls down. And we're coming up to the Parish of the Necromancer, or Necromouser, which is built around Henry abilities, namely the magic hat.
So, basically, the Parasitic Necromancer has this theme where you put the mouse, Henry, on this little, I don't know, what would you call it? A pedestal? A sacrificial stick?
Pedestal works.
Pedestal. And it causes you to place 4 duplicate Henrys across the room. This is only really used in just 2 rooms in the entire game, I think.
Yep, this one and the next one.
It's honestly a very simple concept, really, having just 4 Henrys. They, I believe I heard directly from the game developers when they were coming up with this power-up, is they decided that there really isn't a whole lot you can do with the idea.
Yeah, they struggled to come up with another use for it, and so it ended up just being confined to those 2 levels. Also, neat little trick. If I dash and throw Henry up at the same time, he goes really far. We call that a ratapult.
Yeah, the timing for that is actually surprisingly tight.
Yeah, all it does is it just transfers the dash momentum to Henry's upward movement. And you have a lot of momentum when you're dashing, so...
Yeah, I believe we're about to get to my favorite set of levels to go through.
Halls of Gleaming Crystal.
Yeah.
These are my least favorite because they're the hardest ones in any percent.
I can agree with that, but I like the challenge. There's a lot of kind of like left brain, right brain mentality you have to go into these levels. Not the first one. The first one's pretty basic. Normally you're supposed to just go all this winding way around, going through these one-way doors, but if you just do a boost jump, you can break the entire level.
And also we were introducing a new mechanic in this level, which was the Cape of Vengeance, that basically turns Henry into a torpedo that goes across the level.
Yeah. He actually did a little time save there where he rocketed Henry off an ice block's corner so that he rebounded in a specific place. But yeah, 6-3, that's the one that always can get you.
And 6-4, of course. That little flip up I did with Henry and the blocks and the switch, that's frame perfect. So, getting that first try is pretty nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of notoriously difficult tricks to do in this game. That I mentioned probably one of the more famous ones earlier, the ice block jump that we will be seeing in, I believe it's 9-3.
9-2.
9-2. That's a little ways off, but we won't be there for too much longer.
Yeah.
This is a pretty short game.
And the next area we're going into is the graveyard. I forget what the actual name is, but... and this was the entrance to Temple of Adoration. That's this area that we're skipping because it's a longer section. But Grave of Anguish is what it's called. These have some of the shortest levels in the entire game.
Yeah, though they do feel pretty nice to pull off going fast. I always kind of find it hilarious with, especially, I think it's the last one before the Sheep Soul Orb.
Probably 8-3.
Yeah, that might be it. Just because of how simplistic that one is.
Hopefully simplistic, if I can pull it off. I should be able to dash between 2 falling blocks and get to the doorway in 1 second. There we go.
Yeah, the way I used to do it was where you literally just dash left and dash right and dash left again and you're done. Safe, easy, every time.
And this is the one sheep room that's actually difficult as far as execution goes. Because there's a couple tricks with tossing Henry at the very start and then going between all of the single block tiles. But yeah, that is 7 sheep souls saved. We can go on to the final area now, which is the Lair of Tarragos.
Yeah, and
You
Lair
want to explain what
Tarragos.
Tarragos is?
Yeah. Tarragos is this bone snake-like creature and is the quote-unquote boss of the game. Basically, he will follow you around in the room, turning at corners depending on where you are. You need to use this to lure him to destroy certain things, to climb and reach areas you were not supposed to without him in order to progress. It's the game's way of forcing a bit of an auto-scroller on you, but not actually being an auto-scroller. We do have a few tricks in order to circumvent the auto-scrollerness of the Tarragos. Namely, like in the first level here in 9.1. Normally these doors will not stay, will close, but if you put Henry down, if they're open, they will remain open. So that saves a little bit of time here, but at 9-2, okay, Stinger. I'm watching. This is very important. Ah, you didn't get it!
I owe you 20 bucks. That's unfortunate. Haven't done this one in a little bit. That just costs a little bit of time. It's not gonna make me reset the level or anything.
Yeah, what he was trying to do there earlier was he was trying to do what is known as ice block jump. It's very simple. When the ice block on the right side falls down, you have a brief moment of time to get on top of the falling ice block and jump off of it in order to reach the keys.
Hey Ozzy.
Yes?
You want to make a bet on 9-4 trick?
Double or nothing?
Something like that.
Okay.
Yay or nay?
Looking at my wallet. Fine.
Alright, let's go. There's a stupid trick here that saves 1/4 of a second.
Oh, you're talking about
And it costs 34 seconds if I miss it.
Oh! This trick is so dumb. It's not... It's so dumb.
This is the dumbest trick in the game.
It's at the end of the run, too, and you're barely
Got him.
saving any time. Ah!
How about this? We both owe 20 bucks.
Fine, I'll shake on that.
Messed up this strat a little bit.
You mess up this strat, but you get the dumbest strat.
Alright, but this is the final level. And time. 17:16. We normally go by in-game time. I think this is a sub 14 time, which is pretty good for a marathon run.
Yeah.
Yep, 13:48. I'm very happy with that. I think that may actually be the best time I've pulled off in a marathon.
Died once. I mean...
I know.
What was that death?
It was the 4-3 squish.
Right.
Oh well. Can't get it every time.
Mission accomplished. We have bought time.
Yep. And now that we have done Scapegoat 2, we're gonna switch right on over to Paper Mario. So yeah, give us a couple minutes to get that set up, and it'll be right to you. Stay tuned.